What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sideline Summit. I'm Antonio Perez, joined as always by Danny Cole, DC, UPenn's finest. We are without CB today. He is going to a Don Toliver concert, so hope he's having fun there. But of course, we're here to recap Week 8 in the NFL. We're talking 1 p.m. window, 4 p.m. window, whatever time zone you're in, whatever inferior time zone that you're in, by the way. But we are talking about the early Sunday slate of games and, of course, Thursday night football as well. Just a reminder, if you're new here, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to this on audio platforms, leave a like, 5-star review, comment if you can, download the episode if you really liked it. But we never get the recaps and the preview started without Summits and Plummets.
Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest. Summit of the day is I just watched a great 4 o'clock slate of football. Some people probably don't like that slate. I really enjoyed that slate. You had Josh Allen versus Seahawks. Allen just took over. I love seeing Josh Allen just play good football. And Bears Commanders, the box score and the score might not say banger of a game, but the fourth quarter was screaming like borderline playoff game. Like, it was giving me reminiscence and shades of we can get more into it later, but it was going to be shades of like Bengals-Chiefs rivalry type game. So I'm really excited to see more Bears Commanders in the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's dope. And Plummet?
Yeah, Plummet. I guess I went golfing this morning. I lost a lot of golf balls, which is it's the nature of the game. It's the nature of the sport. So, but we actually played pretty well though. But so I did lose a lot of balls though. So
sounds dope. I would probably say my summit has easily been Jason Tatum. He's coming out. He is the one of, if not the top candidate for MVP through about a week of basketball. Averaging 33 points a game, shooting 43% from three. That three ball seems to be all the way back. Hopefully he can keep that up. And the Celtics are undefeated. You know, I'm not even – last year I'm struggling. I'm like, why are we in a dogfight with the Detroit Pistons? This year I'm not even fighting it. The Pistons just got it, dude. They just got it. If they were to meet the Celtics in a 7-game series, I'm convinced it would go to 6 or 7. Like, so serious. But, yeah, there's that. Plummet, I would probably say it is keeping it away from football. I guess I can keep it in the NBA is I don't really know which direction I want to take this. Honestly, maybe I don't have a Plummet. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's just that.
Well, you gotta drop the biggest summit of your family for a long time. Your brother got married.
No, yeah, that was cool or whatever. But yeah, that was dope. That was a fun time. I guess that could be the other summit. But
honorary summit is that Tyrese Maxey dropped 45 today, an overtime game for me.
That's dope. Good for him. Finally had a good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise we can get right into this. On every single episode, you will see me wearing some kind of hat, whether it's a snapback, whether it's a dad style hat. I always got to have something to complete the outfit. And the only place where I get my hats is lids.com. Lids.com has so many different brands, and of course they have a bunch of different styles. Like I just said, it could be dad hat, snapback, it could be fitted, it could be Velcro back. Whatever you want, they got it. And with the NFL season coming up, I know you're going to want to rock and represent your favorite squad. Me personally, I'm a big Eagles guy, and I love this 47 brand throwback hat that I got from lids.com. Or if you're more of a snapback guy, I also got this NBA champions Boston Celtics new era cap from lids.com as well. If you like either of those hats and you feel like you want one to represent your squad, click the link in the description below. Whether it's new era or 47, both links will take you right to lids.com. And the best thing about Lids, they always have some type of deal going on their website. So make sure you click that link and check out any deals they got going on at lids.com. 4 o'clock slate of games.
let's start
or
off
the
with
one
the
the one
title.
o'clock slate, the 1 o'clock slate of games.
Oh, okay.
Apologies.
If we were going to start with the four, I was going to say let's start off with the title of the video. But if that
No.
with that being said, let's not do that. The 1 o'clock slate. Let's start off with probably one of the biggest surprises of the day is seeing the Browns beat the Ravens. Chris, I'm sorry
Yeah.
you're not on the show, but the Browns beat the Ravens, and it was like I'm not worried about the Ravens at all. And people are gonna be like, "Oh, how did you?" But they lost to one of the worst teams in the league with a new quarterback, and they got rid of their wide receivers. Look, Kyle Hamilton dropped the ball. He'll catch that in the playoffs most of the time. Like he should catch that interception 90% of the time. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Rashad Bateman dropped the ball. The Ravens need to throw this game out the door and start from scratch because they have every level of talent on the roster. And guess what? They are giving up the most points per game on defense out of any team projected to be in the playoffs. That's the only cause for concern. Is that this team has actually a bad defense for the first time under John Harbaugh that I can remember. Like I don't remember John Harbaugh ever having a bad defense. And like, Roquan Smith doesn't look like he's that guy right now. Like he's still good, but he doesn't look like the same Roquan Smith that we've been seeing. Like nothing can beat him, and I think it's because a lot of more teams are putting their slot receivers and their more talented guys in the slot and getting more favorable matchups against a less quick Smith. But I think the Ravens are a tricky team. You don't know which version are you getting MVP Lamar and MVP supporting cast because I think Lamar didn't play bad at all. Or are you getting the Baltimore Ravens from Wish that don't provide any support to Lamar and like Nelson Aguilar is your catching touchdowns. Like let's be real, Nelson Aguilar, Philadelphia Eagles legend, but I don't think he should be a starting receiver in the NFL team right now. To be completely honest with you.
Yeah. No. He got 115 yards from Zay Flowers, and he got 73 rushing yards from Derrick Henry. He got 5 catches out of Mark Andrews. This is not an entirely unacceptable supporting cast performance. Not at all. And not saying Lamar played bad either. I thought he played great. No turnovers. Um, Near 300 yards, over 300 yards of total offense, 2 touchdowns. The apps. It's as simple as this. You got caught off guard by a team that had a new quarterback. You have no film on Jameis, at least this season. Um, and when you go to prep for the Browns, you got to watch all the Deshaun Watson film. Like that's what you got. And limited Jameis Winston reps last week. So
I will say props to Ken Dorsey. Stefanski gave play calling duties over to Ken Dorsey, and I think he called a fantastic game. I think that if I were a team and that needs a head coach next year, I'm watching the Browns how Dorsey operates the rest of the year because I think Dorsey could have the goods.
yeah, definitely have to wait till the end of the year because again, like I said, this is a Ravens defense that has one not been favorable against the pass despite having the weapons back there defensively, and two, it's the first game of one new play caller, then new quarterback, the probably the most unpredictable quarterback in the NFL in
Dude, he's
Jameis
either doing
Winston.
what he
Um,
did or he's throwing 5 interceptions and looking like he should be benched.
yeah, exactly. And the run game wasn't too strong for them today, but they did get good games out of Tillman, Njoku, Moore, Judy. Um, and credit to Jameis Winston, man. Coming, you had, of course, you did have the full week of prep. But I thought he played great. Obviously, no turnovers, which any time you can get a Jameis Winston game without no turnovers, you're probably going to win the game because he is guaranteed doing the other things. Um, but yeah, like you said, like I'm not necessarily worried about Baltimore. Um, Lamar still looked like the MVP. The defense had to play a guy they had no film on at least this week. So not really worried about the Ravens. I agree with you. Flush it, move on. But for Cleveland, again, not saying Jameis Winston's about to run the table or anything. They're 2-6. Okay. But my thing is that it's just insane that okay, granted, I don't know how James is going to play the rest of the way, but this is now another veteran quarterback who is just known gunslinger. You're getting a pick or a touchdown almost anytime he drops back, and yet that is still more sustainable offense than Deshaun Watson. And the team and the management just because he makes so much money, it's like I got to play him. That mind-boggling to me. I get certain scenarios like okay, again, NBA, NFL, not 1-on-1, but like Bradley Beal makes so much money, and he starts, which that's another one where I'm like, you don't really got to start him, but like I guess I get it. But this just if Jameis even were to replicate this even once more, or continue to stack 20+ point games with this offense, I don't know. I think you're gonna just have to cut your loss. I mean, you should cut your losses already. I'm talking just from a money perspective. Who even cares at this point? You're losing money every time he steps onto the field. You might as well just sit him on the bench. He will get that $60 million alone or whatever the rest he's owed.
Cut him. He can go sit in a room by
I was
himself.
say I don't know how much he is in dead cap off the top of my head, but yeah, absolutely great. I mean, like they're in line for a quarterback this year. I'll say that whether it's draft, find a free agent, maybe rock with a veteran as a bridge, and then draft someone in the next year's class.
Man, I'll tell you something.
Time will tell.
The New York Jets might be in line for a quarterback if you want to go over there.
Yeah, we can go. We can go right to that game. I can't even say I'm shocked. Yeah, I truly can't. I truly can't say I'm shocked. The Jets are a bad football team.
Dude, it's like I'm not even gonna be like every year, but like they upgraded their offensive line. Their defense is like their defense has star power. Like let's be honest, they have pretty solid linebacker play. They have one of, if not the best corner in the NFL. Cornerback 2, I guess, could be upgraded because they're rocking Jalen Mills out there in the big 2024.
I would say, did DJ Reed not play today?
DJ Reed, I believe, did play, but Jalen. All right, you know how I found out Jalen Mills is still in the NFL?
Yeah, touchdown photo on him.
Nope. I saw his wife's TikTok saying he got called up in the P squad.
Well, yeah, DJ Reed did play today. I don't know how he got on the field, but I don't know how Mills got on the field. Not Reed. Reed is great, but of course Quinning and Quincy. Yeah, I mean you're absolutely right. There, yeah.
It comes down to this, right? They gave up 14 points and lost. So and they got 14 points and the game got a little spiral. They got 25 points. The Jets defense kind of did fold down the stretch, but Jets offense, you looked like you didn't know what you were doing against the league's 25th ranked defense. That's playing without Christian Barmore. That's playing without Mr. Peppers. That's playing without so many different players, dude. It's really concerning. I think that this Aaron Rodgers era in New York is going to come to an end after this season. And it's going to be funny because after 2 years, it's like, do they stroll out there with a 41-yard quarterback with no weapons? Let's be honest, Aaron Rodgers is not that great anymore. He's good. But he is not the same Aaron Rodgers. You're going to need elite talent. You're going to need elite play calling around him. You're going to need elite coaching. And you're going to need good game management. And after you fire your head coach and you trade and go all in as your 2-5, just not a fan. Not a fan at all. I didn't see their direction here. It's doesn't make much sense to me. I thought they were going to be a lot better this year. But as Steelers say, the Browns are the Browns, the Jets are the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, this is just another game where if you're Robert Saleh, you're in Cancun, you're Turks and Caicos, kicking your feet up, with a ice cold one, just laughing because how was Robert Saleh of all people scapegoated? Unbelievable. Probably the only dude you could rely on between staff and players. I mean, This defense I don't even okay. Drake May only dropped back 6 times, so I can't even give the bulk of the Patriots offensive credit to in comparison to the last time the Jets and Patriots played. Patriots just looked awful. They had no juice. Brissett didn't play well. The offensive line was a wreck. This game, May and Brissett got sacked 1 time each. Whereas last game, it seemed like Brissett was going down every single time he dropped back. But this time around, the defense clearly not as prepared as it once was. Gerard Mayo does a great job making adjustments heading into this game. Not only they hold the Jets to under what they scored last time, and the Patriots get 25 points on the board, which I guess for Patriots and
awesome.
I would say for the Patriots and Browns, that's awesome. You haven't even sniffed that this season. Well, with May, you have a few times or once in the Houston game, but nonetheless, it's absolutely disappointing. And I didn't even think it's a division rival game. I didn't even think the Jets offense was utterly terrible in this game. I thought Rodgers did a great job getting Wilson the ball. You got a solid day from Breece Hall, who's been on the inconsistency ladder, but the last 2 games has started to put some things together. But it just sucks. It sucks that this offense, I think, is going to start to get in a groove. Well, I do agree. I think they're in line with a quarterback. Rodgers is clearly not there as athletically as he once was. He's still fine. He can leave the pocket. Arm ain't what it once was. It's still a good arm though. It's Aaron Rodgers. Let's not fool ourselves.
Yeah. Sure.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, he's 40, and the body language. I can't with this body language. You want to Stephon Diggs gets called a diva because he has passionate words for his quarterback. And they called Odell a diva because he's on the sideline throwing his helmet and hitting the kicking net. You want to talk about a real diva is Aaron Rodgers. It's the throwing your hands up and yelling at somebody, and nothing is ever his fault. And just because you're more experienced than everybody, you're the new guy here. Just know that you are the new guy here.
Let's flip it. I just want to put it in perspective for anyone that's listening. Imagine, let's just say LeBron James, 4-time MVP, went to a new team, Los Angeles Lakers. And when his team was struggling, instead of being a leader, what he was doing is blaming everyone on the team. He was blaming Lonzo Ball. He's blaming Kyle Kuzma. No, as a good teammate, as a good individual, as a good athlete, you don't blame your teammates for mistakes. You say, hey, you fucked up. Come to me. We'll do it better next time. That's any athlete. If you're on a team, that's what you do. So it's very concerning. I think he needs to just join Pat McAfee full time and pack it up.
Yeah. I truly just can't with the body language, man. I agree. Yeah, it's just so bad, and it's always been this way. But yeah, I mean, good game from the Patriots. The Jets are an absolute. I couldn't even say I thought they would have been this bad, but it's bad when you fire your head coach, and the only good quality about your team being your defense is now falling apart, giving up 25 points to the Patriots, giving up 30 plus to a 34-year-old Russell Wilson in his first start on an offense that has just, let's keep it real, been bad all year. And you gave him 30 plus points. You gave Najee Harris at best. You gave Najee Harris his second best game of the year because he went off against the Raiders. But let Najee Harris stack a good game. It's bad. And I think maybe I gave him a little grace against the Steelers. But even as the week was going on, I'm starting to think, I'm like, they gave up 30 plus points to the Steelers. No.
Not 30 plus, 37.
Yeah, 37. Like they were pushing 40. You almost give up 40 points to the Steelers. Like the more I think about it, the more I don't give them grace.
You know, the last time the Steelers scored 37 before that?
I'm going to assume it was with Big Ben.
It was Big Ben in 2020.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. That's
4 years ago, dude.
Yeah.
COVID was literally just starting last time they scored 37. Put that in perspective.
Yeah. I want to move on real quick. Just real quick, I want to talk about Lions, Titans. Not anything. Look, we're probably not going to talk a lot of Titans on here. Just going to let you know. I'm really here for the Lions.
Funniest team in the NFL, by the way, before you say anything.
Yeah, Jared Goff, 12 for 15, 85 yards, 3 touchdown passes, 130 rating.
Can't beat it.
Yeah, I mean the run game was the Gibbs was absolutely phenomenal today. They throw up 52 on the Titans. And the Lions, I think more so, I think people don't look at him this way just because obviously Goff is Goff and he's not Lamar Jackson, but they're running through teams how the Ravens were for the past 5 weeks, and I don't think anybody in the NFC right now has the goods to match up with Detroit. Detroit, when they bring it defensively and they truly establish a run game and it lets Goff build off play action and it lets the O line settle in and they don't really get pressure to Goff. This offense, it's virtually unstoppable. And this is without Jameson Williams, who granted wasn't doing the craziest things. Um, even in this game, Ross St. Brown, 2 catches, 7 yards. He had a touchdown, but 2 catches, 7 yards. That's probably, if you take away that touchdown, that's probably the worst game of his career. And they still absolutely dominate. So I just want to give credit where it's due for them, even without Aiden Hutchinson, even without JMO. They're bringing every week. They're you know absolutely blowing teams out of the water. I just want to give them their credit. Clear NFC favorites, in my opinion.
Yeah, I love that. I think they're clear NFC favorite. Someone asked me how many teams in the NFL can beat the Lions right now in the Super Bowl.
I would say Kansas City. They're the undefeated. Got Mahomes. Won't count them out. I'll say the Ravens could probably beat them. I really do think no one in the NFC could beat them right now in the playoffs.
I think not right now. Football has been a game where you've needed to be hot, but also have talent. So I think, and that just proves like the Eagles, like last year, the Eagles were on a all-time skid and came into the playoffs. But like when they went to the Super Bowl, they were hot, dude. They had a streak. They were rolling. Things kind of felt smooth. So I think it all comes down to like, if the Eagles are smooth coming into the playoffs, I think they could certainly beat the Lions. That's
It's possible. I think
that's my official midseason prediction for the NFC Championship.
Well, I'll say this. I think that if we had to pick two teams in the NFC to beat the Lions, the Eagles are one. But they have to continue to stack games like they had the last 2 weeks. Jalen Hurts has to continue playing turnover-free football and just absolutely keep slinging it how he's been for the pocket. And we can jump to that game next, but I did want to say the healthy 49ers will always have a chance. With the way Shanahan calls plays, Purdy has been his best out of structure in his career easily so far. But I think once they get all their culmination of weapons back, the red zone struggles probably go away. When they get Christian McCaffrey back, time will tell. Obviously, you lose Ayuk for the year, but with how he's been playing, it's always been. I think it's always been evident. Yeah, you could say Ayuk is a better receiver than Debo, but Debo means so much more to this offense because of the roles that he plays. Whether how good he is in that is completely subjective and up to whoever's watching. But they said it in like the receiver is like Shanahan's like, I don't have another Debo Samuel. Like for example, it's like Ayuk gets hurt, you can throw in another receiver, won't be as good, but he can go out there and run the routes. You can't just bring in another Debo. So
I'll say one more team, the Green Bay Packers. Let me hear
it. I really don't like their chances actually. Again,
I was a question. It wasn't me stating. It was more.
Oh, okay, yeah. I personally I wouldn't pick the Packers to beat the Lions. Jordan Love is a little bit too up and down for my liking. The defense is a little too up and down for my liking. The past 2 weeks have been, well, not even this week. Last week it was like just out of this realm good. That was a complete outlier on their defense this year.
And I'll say this,
Maybe they can start to stack some of those, but you gave 27 to Jacksonville, so don't necessarily know.
The one team that I think could, if they sneak in and are on good terms, the Washington Commanders. They have this spark to them.
No.
I wish they had more. I wish they had more on offense, dude. I wish they had more outside of Terry. I wish they had more outside of Zach Ertz. Like, I love their run game. When with Brian Robinson, just run hard downhill. this team is like, it feels like a piece or two away.
Yeah. Commanders are what, 5-2, 6-2 now?
6-2 with the Giants and the Steelers in the next 2 weeks.
Okay. We'll get to the Commanders in a second when we get to the 4 o'clock window. We said we'll talk about Eagles Bengals next. So with the Eagles, I would even say through the first 15 plays, they looked fine. I thought the first 15 plays were fine. They drive down the field, a holding call kind of stalls the drive. They don't score in the first quarter. They end up settling for a field goal. Happens.
They got the ball with 5 minutes left on the clock, though. So
yeah, take that for what you will. And then the next drive, it's punt, and then from there, they absolutely ran
them.
Just kicked the door down on the Bengals. The run game once again strong with Saquon and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had a couple design runs, a couple scrambles that I really liked. He had one near the goal line in the red zone, design QB draw, which those have worked to way better than they did last year. They look a lot like the 2022 version of the QB draw that got them a couple first downs in the Super Bowl. He has one. He cuts back, finds a hole, hits a move on the safety, makes him fall, gets within the 5-yard line. I thought that was pretty good. He obviously had the QB sweep where he takes it, or it was an option, but
good option, yeah.
Cuts it up between two defenders, walks in the end zone untouched. But
I will say he has burst now.
Yeah,
he looks like 2022 Jalen Hurts, and I think we were saying this back at the end of last year. He was hurt, like it was evident. No, whether the Eagles were malpractice, not reporting it, Jalen Hurts had a knee injury. Whether
absolutely
or not, he could not run full speed.
Yeah, and now this year we're running design QB runs again. He's able to move around in the pocket, make people miss. Actually, on the first drive, he ducks 2 defenders and scampers for a first down, and he looked really good doing it. And that's another thing. You add the evasiveness that he had in 2022, along with probably the strongest quarterback in the league. Just if we're talking from like a providing force standpoint, but he plays absolutely great. 3 rushing touchdowns, passing touchdown, only 4 incompletions. So usually the stat is passing touchdowns. You know, he has more passing touchdowns than incompletions, but he has the same total touchdowns as incompletions. But nonetheless, 132.5 rating. And now I've watched him outplay Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes all on a football field. 3 different years, granted, and it's a subjective thing. But one thing we're not going to say is Jalen Hurts doesn't rise to the occasion. If he sees an elite quarterback on the other end of that field, and this could be a hunch, I guess you could say. I have nothing to really back this up besides like his raw box score numbers and who he's playing at that time. But something tells me when there's an elite guy on that other sideline, he comes to play. And he did today. But where I really want to give credit is the defense. That first drive, Quincy Mitchell, great day, let up 1 catch all day.
It was an out route that he got called for a holding on.
Yeah, and take my opinion with a grain of salt. Jamar pushed him first, but
he did.
Always the second
ran
guy.
Into him.
Yeah, but what I did want to say, first drive, it was tough. Joe Burrow was absolutely perfect. I think they executed. I think they had 5 third down conversions on the drive alone, and they score a touchdown. But from there, it's a field goal, it's a missed field goal, and they score 7 at some point down the road. But the Eagles already done put it away. Forcing turnovers, had the fumble on Gesicki. Isaiah Rodgers did a great job going stride for stride with Jamar Chase, batting it down. Gardner Johnson, good job being there to make the deflection or to catch the ricochet. But the pressure was there. I thought Fangio drawed up some great blitzes. Bond, Dean, they rushed Burrow several times into some bad throws, incompletions, whatever it may be. So yeah, this is about as complete of a game as it was, and for the defense to have the showing against, I don't want to say that the Bengals are a good team necessarily. So I don't want to say the Eagles put together a good win, especially without T. But for an offense that's been hitting on all cylinders all year, with or without T. Higgins, or besides week 1, with or without T. Higgins, I'm very pleased with this defensive performance. and then
Yeah,
offense did their thing.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. From the defensive side for the Eagles, say one word. It's fun. They're having fun again, like they were back in 2022. Back like every winning team has a defense that has fun. Like your defense has to make a play and celebrate, and people might not like it, but they got to go up and run to the end zone and point to the camera and take a picture and get the like. That's what a defense has to do to get energy, to get the crowd into it, and it matters whether you like want to acknowledge it or not. That little things like that will change like a game.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think the game kind of like took its entire momentum swing on the fourth down in their own territory. They throw Jamar does a motion, fake motions back, motions the original way. Coops with him every step of the way. He sees the swing pass coming, makes a great one-on-one tackle with one of the most physical receivers in the game. That's a vet play right there by Cooper DeJean. So,
dude, he tackles super strong. Trent Irwin was in the flat and he tackled him by his shoulder, like literally. It wasn't a horse collar, but he like got his like front of his shoulder and like threw him down.
yeah,
He barely
Coop's
got him.
been. It's almost like you have an extra athletic linebacker on the field when he is in these nickel packages. In coverage, he's been fine as well. There were some plays that I didn't necessarily like in coverage, but I'm nitpicking at that point. They let up only 17 points to one of the top offenses in the league. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
uh,
I would like
yeah,
to see Nolan Smith not on Jamar Chase.
yeah, that would be preferable. We've had Brandon Graham guarding Malik Neighbors, and now we have Nolan Smith guarding Jamar Chase. So, um, I don't know what's up with that. I would just prefer. I know goal line you want some bigger bodies, but probably try to find a way around that. But the Eagles
Yeah.
now sit at 5-2, clearly leading. Oh, not leading division. They're second in division to the Commanders. Um, but they're starting to stack the wins. They're probably going to be that Super Bowl contender that people were hoping for in 2023.
Yeah.
And as for the Bengals, they're a fool not to pay T Higgins. I mean, with not. I mean, Jamar had a fine day. He had a fine day, 9 catches. But this run game is weak, and who else are you going to after Jamar Chase? It's not like Tyler Boyd's there anymore, who used to be a serviceable two when T was out or Jamar was out, but just overall not a fan of this offense. This offense without T Higgins.
No, it's not fun. It's
Yeah.
dare we say that Joe Burrow is a receiver merchant.
No,
He
we're not
relies
doing.
on his. No, I'm kidding, but like
We're not doing
he
that.
he relies on his receivers, like which any good quarterback does.
Every quarterback who's ever existed relies on
Yeah,
these receivers.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
Maybe some more than others, but I want to talk about the first place Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
the Arizona
first game
Cardinals,
with Tua back.
they ruined Tua's return to Miami, and Kyler Murray put on a show. All that Call of Duty just came out. Went to bed. He's an NFL quarterback. He doesn't care about Call of Duty. He might play on the side for fun. This guy is a baller. He's a grinder. He had 326 total yards and 2 touchdowns. He was
No
awesome.
turnovers.
No turnovers. He got Marvin involved, 6 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Trey McBride got involved, 9 catches, 124 yards. It's those two guys. If you're going to win football games, you need to get them involved. And I don't think the Cardinals can win the division. I don't think they can win the division. I don't think they have enough on firepower. But Kyler's getting a little older. I mean, he's not old, but like he's aging. He's getting to like prime years. You have Marv, you have McBride. You're getting to a point where you're going to need to add a piece or two to be ready. And I think next year is going to be perfect time. And they could sneak in backdoor a playoff spot if they want to remain competitive throughout these next 6-7 weeks. So I think this team has showed they're a lot more ready than we thought. And I remember earlier in the season when we were having the conversation, can the Arizona Cardinals make the playoffs? I said that Kyler Murray's a sneaky MVP pick. And you're like, nah, like they're not going to win enough games. But like we were like, yeah, if he wins 10 games, 11 games, he win MVP. I don't think that's true right now, but I think he's putting together good performance after good performance and proving just who he is.
Yeah, I would say even more than the first quarter masterclass against the Rams. This was probably the best game of Marvin Harrison Jr.'s career because it's a little more fleshed out. He's involved in the first quarter through the third quarter. Um, and that's props to Kyler Murray and that's props to the coordinator. And they, hopefully this game makes them realize that Marvin Harrison Jr. is too elite of a talent to not use. And when you use him, good things happen. Your offense probably had the best 2 days of their best 2 games of the year involved Marvin Harrison Jr. 100+ yard games. Trey McBride is one of the best tight ends in the league, and that's another guy that you can seriously get involved. Now, when you get a serious number 2, now we can start to talk about one of the elite offenses in the NFL. James Conner, um, 20, 20 carries for 53 yards looks about as nasty as it gets, but I promise you it means something, though, because it's tough sledding every time he gets the football. And it still makes you have to put 7 in the box at all times. Kyler Murray with Marvin Harrison Jr. 1-on-1 with Trey McBride 1-on-1. We're gonna put up points. We're gonna make it's gonna be some fireworks. So yeah, shout out to them. As for the Dolphins, I mean, that's a tough break. I mean, Tua doesn't even play a bad game. He comes back and this offense looks like how it did before he got hurt. It just goes to show that Tua is an average to above average quarterback that is needed to run the McDaniel system. Oh, damn, that's tough. Now we're looking at 2-5 or 2-6. Not sure if the record update, but 2-5. Basically, you have 2 wins, and we're about 8 weeks through the year. So, uh, it's tough. I don't know. If I had to pick between them and the Jets, who could probably backdoor a playoff spot, I'd probably go with the Dolphins. They're a little less dysfunctional. They had a good game. The Cardinals just had a better game. And
props to you, man, about picking the Bills too to win the division.
I don't even think that was a hot take. I looked
wait. Didn't you say Dolphins?
I did. I did say the Dolphins. I did say the Dolphins.
You did say the Bills were going to be good
to be the top wild card spot. I picked them to be the top wild card spot. I thought the Dolphins would win it. I can't even fall back on the Tua got hurt because Tua got hurt in a game where the Bills were blowing their backs out. So
yeah,
I won't victory lap on that, but yeah. I mean, I'm not.
You did see them being a good team for sure.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people didn't.
Yeah, there were guys, people who thought they'd be the third best team in this division. I look at they got the top head coach, by far the top quarterback. I'm gonna rock with him. McDermott will never put a bad defensive product on the football field, and Josh Allen. This is a top 3 quarterback in the world. Again, I'm not worried about him. So,
just before we move on, we can talk briefly about the Thursday night game as we forgot to.
No, yeah. Let's talk about let's talk about that real quick.
It was Matthew Stafford. It was Matthew Stafford show in Los Angeles. And the disciple got showed by the teacher. Is what it came down to. McVay outclassed his disciple in a KOC. So it was an offensive masterclass, though. If you watch that game, it was super fun to watch. And you start to question the talent level on the Vikings defense. Actually, is what really stood out to me. I think the Vikings defense doesn't have that much talent on it. I think that they have really good play callers. Is what it comes down to. They have an average pass rush with average DBs and really good linebacker play, and it's with that it gets elevated by having Brian Flores because he knows how to use them all to make them above average. But when you go against above average offense and above average offensive play caller, that's when you can get exposed, and that's what happened. Matthew Stafford looked great. He looked like Matthew Stafford. Just to be completely honest, he's a top 15, top 10 guy, borderline top 5 guy if you want to be honest. So great game. I love what I saw from Puka Nacua in this return, and dare I say, the Rams get back to a playoff spot.
Absolutely, they could. Absolutely. You have one of the best coaches in the NFL. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You have a top 10 wide receiver. Um, and then you also have Cooper Kupp, who at this point is one of the best wide receiver twos in the league because Puka, every time he steps on the football field, he lets you know he's wide receiver one over there.
Question.
Um,
Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay?
McVay, I think. I think McVay has done similar things. He has a ring with less talented teams. Sure, his ring was, you could say, quote, bought. Even so. McVay's. I'll probably say Reed. I'd have to go Reed.
I still have to go Reed here. Just because he's Andy Reid.
But like McVay, the offensive master classes that he's capable of is obviously what props him up into this upper echelon. But his game management skills are another completely different thing. And then the offense with the guys you have, when you have a Stafford. Let's put it this way:
Sean McVay
took Jared Goff to a Super Bowl before Jared Goff was good. So
Sean McVay is a psycho. He's a psycho.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. Usually, defensive coaches are the psychos, but you have an offensive psycho. So he's only ever thinking of ways to make his offense better. Good thing he is a psycho at quarterback as well, who's willing to make any throw on the football field to whoever it is. Demarcus Robinson, 2 touchdowns. Who had it? Who bet it? They're probably retired by now.
Someone did.
They're probably retired by now.
They probably parlayed that with Kyle Pitts and Kate Otten, and they're retired.
Yep. Happy National Tight Ends Day, by the way. To me and me only. But
eight touchdowns. If you parlayed it, $2.50 to $98K. Someone played it.
Yeah. But yeah, the Rams offense is all the way back, and now in hindsight, now that we can look at it, Rams offense is back. Basically, lack of better terms, Sean McVay yanked Cooper Kupp right off of the trade block because he's like, you know what, my team is now 3-4. We're tied for third in the division. Niners are probably going to win tonight. They're going to be fourth in the division, but it's all close. It's all close, and the Rams can beat anybody. They've already beaten the Niners without Kupp and Puka. They can always beat the Seahawks, and they can always beat the Cardinals. They didn't beat the Cardinals earlier this year. Again, no Puka. Take it for what it is. Because Puka's an absolute game changer. And that goes beyond. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, let's look at their losses. 6-point overtime loss week 1 to the Lions. One of the best teams in the NFL. Yeah, blown out by the Cardinals.
Blown out by
but then you follow it up by beating the 49ers. You lose to the Bears.
You lose to the Bears on the road. You lose to the Packers in a close one. And most of these are without Kupp and Puka.
Yeah, you're losing by 5 without your 2 best guys.
And then you finally get a bounce back win against the Raiders. And then you get your guys back on a short week. And you beat a team that was 5-0 just roughly 5 days ago before they ended up winning that game. So
their next 3 games, they got Seahawks, Dolphins, and Patriots. They could win all 3.
They could easily go 3-0. We could be talking about a month from now. They're 7-4. 7-4. Maybe that's in the lead of the division. Not exactly sure. But I really just wanted to point out Puka. It's when we were having the conversation, Garrett Wilson versus Puka, I was just like, it's not the quarterback thing doesn't necessarily matter. I'm not saying Puka is 100% quarterback proof, but Stafford needs him just as much as Puka needs Stafford. I would say Stafford might even need him more. You looked at how the offense looked through the games without him. You add him back in. You get his partner in crime back, and they look great again. I just want to say for Minnesota, technically Minneapolis, I guess, but for Minnesota's offense.
You still want to say the Biden, Minnesota.
No, for Minnesota, though, Jefferson has an absolute baller game. Where's everyone else at? That was my fear going into this year. I'm not out on them after 2 losses to really good teams, in my opinion. But it's just tough. And I don't want to say Sam Darnold's figured out, but you got to get a run game going with him. And you got to get Jordan Addison involved. 2 catches, 22 yards is not enough. Now, should he be posting on his IG story free 3? I don't know about that. But someone else has to show up. It's completely unacceptable that Justin Jefferson essentially holds the value of a quarterback every time he steps on a football field, because if he doesn't produce, even if he does produce, they end up getting stagnant. So I think they're due for a bounce back win, though. I'm not really too worried about the Vikings. And then one last thing about the Rams. Shout out Jared Verse, defensive rookie of the year.
I like that.
Yeah. Back to the 1 o'clock window. I'll say back to the 1 o'clock window. The Falcons win against the beat up Bucks.
Didn't move me much. Baker kept them close though.
Yeah. Packers. Jordan Love goes down. Malik Willis comes in, saves the day once again. And they beat the Jaguars. Probably was a little too close for comfort. The last game, I guess we can really get into detail on in the 1 o'clock.
It makes you think though. Is Malik Willis, was he failed by Tennessee?
Probably, if I had to guess. But I would say if him and Levis like swap spots, I mean Malik Willis would not. They probably don't have a win right now. I'm just gonna say it.
I mean Mason Rudolph got them their win, so
fair. That's fair. That's fair. I don't even want to say too much about the Texans. Another good game from Mixon. Another good game from Stroud. Getting spreading the wealth, getting it to Schultz, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs.
Sloppy football though. They did not play like.
You want to talk about sloppy football? What is Anthony Richardson at this point?
Dude, he's not good. I said it's like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks. Like you watch it after the Steelers game. Like this guy, sometimes you just see this guy like he'll do the most incredible athletic thing that you've seen on the planet Earth, and then he'll proceed to miss 7 passes in a row.
Yeah, and no, what's the craziest thing about it all? Last year, his accuracy looked so much better. Through 5 games last year, he just looked like a flat out star. He was hitting deep balls. The momentum things were fine. Like he wasn't the most accurate, but we were like, wow, he already looks better than he does at Florida in a higher league. And now he looks like he's back in Florida again. I mean, less than 30% of your passes were completed.
31% completion percentage. What the hell?
Yeah, it's just tough. Downs has a great day when he's able to get the ball at the very least. But their MVP, well, even though they lost, Jonathan Taylor had a great day. So, I would say Will Anderson. My goodness. How do he got a sack on a Hail Mary? How do you do it, man? Y'all sent 3 at 5. He got a sack on a Hail Mary. That's absolutely ridiculous, man. But done with the 1 p.m. window. Speaking of Hail Marys, just jump right back into the Rookie of the Year duel. For 45 minutes of this game, Caleb Williams was absolute hot garbage. Just to put it simple. In
Putting
the
balls
third
out of
quarter,
bounds. He couldn't find a receiver.
Commanders did a great job drawing up a scheme that would draw pressure, defend the air as well.
Shout out Dan.
But in the fourth quarter, touchdown drive, a drive that gets them all the way down to like the 1 yard line and they fumble, and then a touchdown drive. So he led them down the field 3 times in that last 15 minutes. That's when the best quarterbacks are activated. And granted, I'm not giving him a good game score for this or anything, but
I'll give him a B- because he was there when it mattered.
I'd give him a C+. Those first 2 quarters of football, like I was ready to I was ready to tweet out some things. Granted he had a great fourth quarter, but Jayden Daniels, the difference is Jayden Daniels was here all 4 quarters. Ends the game with 326 pass yards. Granted, it's like 60 of those were on the Hail Mary. But Daniels had him today. Daniels faced the better defense and walked out with better stats. This round goes to Daniels. It's plain and simple. And he had a great day on the run. He had 52 rushing yards. Terry McLaurin had a great day, 5 catches, 125 yards. Noah Brown has 3 catches for 73 yards. I would love to bet. Yeah. 52 of them were from the Hail Mary. Zach Ertz, another utterly reliable day. I'm just shocked at this point.
Why are you shocked? You know it's him.
He is him. I'm sorry, but they said it's 6-2, number 1 seed in the NFC East, and I believe 2nd seed in the NFC entirely. So, what an absolute day from them. And this is the type of game the type of play where it's like, not to wish bad on them at all, but if we look back in a couple years and maybe Jayden Daniels doesn't ever get really better, or like this team doesn't flame out, they'll be like, man, do you remember the 2024 Commanders? I'm going to be like, yeah, I do. This team, like you said, I think before we started or when we were recording, this team has some juice. They got some spark. And the jury may be out on them a little bit, not as much because they beat a good defense today. Jayden Daniels had a good game against a good defense. I'm just gonna say I'm very excited for when they match up with the Eagles. I'm gonna be that's gonna be a hell of a game. I really believe so.
I was gonna say let's talk about the Commanders' next 5 games. They've got the Giants, should be a win. They barely beat them the last time, but they should blow them out.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna come out a lot stronger for sure.
Pittsburgh Steelers should be 6-2 coming out of the bye week.
The Steelers will be 6-2.
If they beat the Giants, they'll be 6-2 coming out of their bye week.
Okay, so we'll have
game. It looks like it'll be flexed to a 4:00 window if you have 2 6-2 teams.
Yeah, but probably not.
Probably not.
If I had to guess, there's a little bit of context to that Steelers 6-2, but yeah, good team, good defense, and Moonshot Wilson. But I don't know if they flex it, especially I don't know if they want to. They might not flex the Commanders again. Well, this is a win. This was an ugly game, and they started that over Demon Hurts. So I don't know. This game was a nail biter. Let me not hate.
Then they got the Eagles, Cowboys, Titans, Saints. Dude, we're talking about 10 wins by week 15.
Yeah, absolutely. I think from all the names you rattled off, the only 2 that could even threaten them, in my opinion, are the Steelers because Mike Tomlin licks his chops when he sees those young QBs. And
what do you mean by that?
and then the Eagles, of course. It's going to be a divisional game.
Cowboys too, bro. To be completely honest, the Cowboys always play them tough.
Oh gosh, no. Because this is the worst. No. Oh gosh, no. This is the worst rushing defense in the NFL. I think the Commanders are gonna have their way. But with the Eagles, it's kind of like who are they gonna have guard AJ Brown? That's kind of the worry. It didn't really matter. It didn't really matter today. But
is Emmanuel Forbes playing good?
No, I'm pretty sure he's benched.
Yeah, I don't know, but
he was out there for the Hail Mary. I know that he was out there for the Hail Mary, but of course you just want guys out there.
Wait, what? Emmanuel Forbes was out there?
I think he was. I think I saw
on offense.
Oh no! He came onto the field. I'm tripping. I think he came onto the field. I thought I saw him greeting Bears players, but nonetheless, yeah, no, I don't see Forbes in the defensive box score. I don't know how that equates to reps.
Man, but they certainly had benched their first round pick from giving up on him already. It's pretty funny.
They passed on him for Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We said it at the time. It's stupid.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the Commanders, they definitely got the juice. Absolutely ecstatic to see them, slide down to PA and play Steelers and Eagles. The more I look at that Eagles-Steelers game, the more I'm like, or Eagles Steelers, but the more I see Commanders Eagles Thursday night, I'm like, might indulge, not sure. But moving on to some other games in the 4:00 window. Real quick with the Broncos. I mean, they beat the Panthers. Take it with a grain of salt, but don't really take it with a grain of salt. But the Broncos' key to victories are very simple: